morning, everyone. The last session, we are trying to identify the mapping hierarchy as well as the mapping association we identified. So in that, one-to-many and many-to-one association we identified with the help of this particular item and bed class here, right? So we identify the database example here, like how the records are inserting into item as well as into the bit table. So this is the relation we made here. Now you can see item ID we are having 3 as well as the item ID we are having 8. So this particular 3 and item, the records are matched with this particular item table. So these are the phone information, but here the IDs are different here. So this is the way we identify the association, how we can implement in our Hibernate here. So we'll try to focus on today life cycle of this particular persistence object here. So how exactly the life cycle is going to implemented here? Let's see. To understand more about this particular life cycle here, first we need to see how these particular objects are created and how this particular life cycle is going to work. So persistent life cycle here. Okay. Now you can see how this particular persistent life cycle is going to work. So to understand this particular persistent life cycle in our ORM implementation, we'll have a different the persistent life cycle here. For the different ORM implementation, we'll use the different terminology and the different states. So we are going to work on the persistent life cycle here. Getting the pen. In the life cycle, the object can transform transient object into a persistent object and from the persistent object into the detached here. Getting the pen. So this is the main order is going to work internally. If you observe carefully here, this is all about our transient here. Basically, the object is going to the life cycle and object can it is going to transform from the transient life state into the persistent, from the persistent life state into the detached here. So the first one here we need to write transient. Getting the point. So this is the first life cycle here, and the second life cycle I'm trying to write here. So this is called persistent. And the third one here we'll have detached here. Getting the point. So these are the three the life cycle we are having in our the persistence model classes. For each and every persistent model classes, we'll have a year the three life cycles here. How this particular the three life cycles are going to work, we need to understand here, right? So first we'll see how this particular transient is going to work. Basically, this particular transient is going to work whenever we are trying to create a new object here. Whenever we'll create a new object here. So once we created this particular new object here, this particular, now if you see, so basically here we'll have here we can write here new object information. Getting the point. So whenever we create a new object here, it will try to connect it with our transient state. So from the transient state, it will try to work on the persistent and detached here, right? So basically, whenever we are trying to create an object with the help of this particular new operator, so it is immediately, it is not connected to any database here. Getting the point. So whenever we are writing here, let me open our main class here. So here, now what I'm doing here, I'm trying to create a bid object here. With the help of this particular new operator, we are trying to create this particular bid object. So whenever we are creating this particular bid object, directly it is not associated with any database here. But how it is going to associate with the database here? Getting the point. So the association we can see later, but now if you observe, so this particular object in the which state it is in the transient state because this object is not yet linked with any database. So that without linking to the any database, we cannot perform any operations here. Even we cannot save the object here. So, but how we are going to integrate, like how we are going to, so associating with the database here. Getting the point. So with the help of this particular session, we are going to make the relation between database to our persistence object here. But now this object, whenever we are creating this particular object with the help of this particular new operator, now we can call it as this particular object in this, the state called transient state here. Right? Now observe here. So this particular object, it's not able to access it is not able to access any database here to store this particular data. So whenever this object is not eligible to access any data here, so now this particular object is eligible for a garbage collection because so this object is not performing anything and this particular object is not associated with any other operations here. Getting the point. So just we created object here. Just we created object here. So with help of the some information we created. So other than this, we are not performing any other operations here. But how we are going to perform the other operations here? So here we need to see with help of this particular session.save, we are trying to perform the operation. So this is the different here. But now if you observe up to the 40 line number to 44, here we are not performing any operations here. Getting the point. And this particular object is eligible to the garbage collection here. Getting the point. However, the garbage collector come into the picture, it will try to collect the unused object here because these objects are not used here. Right. Whenever the objects are not used, so those objects are comes under the transient state here. But how we are going to make this particular object into the persistent here? How we are going to make this particular object into the persistent? With the help of which object here? Save. With the help of save or update here. Here, two methods we are having here. First one save and save or update here. Getting the point. Save and save or update. So using these two methods here, now what we are doing is we are trying to we are trying to change the state from the transients to persistent here. From the transient state to persistent here. Getting the point. Now this particular object, the particular bid object is now eligible in, like it's moving into the persistent state. Now we need to say what are the operations we can perform inside this particular persistent state here. Getting the point. So basically, and whenever the object is moved into the persistent object here, so this particular persistent instance, so it is any, like it's going to communicate with the database identity here. Getting the point. So how we are going to connect with the database identity? Because of our session factory and session, getting the point, session factory and session here, we'll try to connect our application, like we'll try to connect our object with the database identity here. Getting the point. So whenever this object is connected to the database identity, we are going to perform the operation. So what is the operation we are performing here? We are trying to save the data. So whatever the data we created here, we are trying to save the data with help of the primary key value here. Getting the point. With the help of this particular primary key, we are trying to save the data into the database. Now we are into the persistent state here. And how we are going to coming into the persistent state? With help of this particular save method, we are moving into the persistent state here. But internally, so one more concept we need to understand here. With help of this particular persistent manager. Getting the point. So with help of this particular persistent manager, we are trying to perform the operations here. So what are the operations we are performing? So either the save method or save or update, or like we are having the different two methods here, updating and deleting, everything we are going to communicate with our. So with the help of this particular persistent manager here. Right. So now we need to focus about the how this particular persistence manager is going to work. We'll see like what are the combination of this particular persistent manager. Basically, the session transaction query criteria. These are all the comes under the persistence manager. We'll see how the exactly the persistent manager is going to work. But back to here, when this particular object is moved into this particular persistent here, so with the help of this particular persistent manager, we are going to perform the some operations here. The what is the operation we are making here? So save, save or update here. Getting the point. This is all about the persistent state here. So once this particular object is entered into the persistent state here, so it's going to access the transaction information here. Right. So in the otherwise, like how we can call it as the persistent instance always is going to associate with the session and transactions here. The session is going to save the data, the transaction is going to commit the data. So if we are not getting any exception, the transaction is going to commit the data here. Getting the point. So in the persistent state, it's going to associate with the session and transaction here. And now we need to understand about the transaction here. Basically, the transaction, so it's going to synchronize with our database at the end of the transaction here. So when it's going to synchronize here, so once the operation is going to successful here, we are going to commit the changes. So whenever we are going to commit the changes here, it's going to synchronize with the database here. So whatever the data we are trying to save, getting the point, whatever the data we are trying to save here, so the data is permanently is saved into the database here. So how it's going to stored in the permanently with the help of the transaction, with the help of this particular transaction. In the transaction we are having commit and rollback here. So with the help of this particular two method, the data is going to store permanently. Getting the point. So this is all about the persistent state. So this is very important here. How we are moving into the transient state into the persistent here with the help of this particular session and transaction. So the final one, we need to understand the detached here. So the final one, we need to understand the detached here. So how exactly the detached is going to work? How exactly? So this particular detached state is going to work. Basically, once a transaction is completed, the persistent instance is associated with the persistent manager is going to exit. Getting the point. So the object is not going to delete it anywhere. Still, once after performing the save or update here, what we will do? Basically, we'll try to connect our transaction to save the data into the database. Once the transaction is completed, getting the point. So the objects are not going to deleted here. Still, the objects are available into the persistent state only with help of this particular persistent manager here. But now, so if the transaction is successful in the memory, the data we already identify is going to synchronize with our database here. Getting the point. The objects are going to stored into the permanently here. But now, when this particular, the persistent object will move into the detached here. So whenever we are calling session dot close here, session dot close here, we'll have the method here close method. So whenever we are closing this particular session dot close, now what will happen here? So whatever the object is associated with the persistent manager, now the object is no longer available into the persistent state. The object is moved into the detached state. In the detached state, basically this particular object is not associated with any session here. This object is not associated with any session. So once again, so this particular object is not associated with any session. The object is eligible for the garbage collector here. Getting the pen. Again, the object is no longer have any references here. So now if you see, here we created object. So the objects are saved with help of this particular session dot save. and we close here session. So we close here the session information. So once we close here, whatever the current session we open here, so with help of this particular current session, we can perform any operations as long as these objects are available. These objects are available inside this particular session. So once we close this particular session, now what happening here? So those objects, whatever the object we use it to save, those objects are no longer available into the session here. Now, if the object is no longer available here, so the references we are not going to use anyway. So those objects are eligible for the garbage collection here. And again, so these objects are back to the transient state here. Now, if you see in the transient state also, these objects are not associated with any database here. Same way in the detached also, the objects are not associated with any database here because the session is closed here. Now, what you are understanding is whenever these objects are persisted, then only we can perform the operations here. So either in the transient state we cannot perform the operation, and in the detached state also we cannot perform the operation. Only we can perform the operation whenever those objects are available inside the persistent state here, inside this particular persistent state here. So this is very important here. Right. Now, basically, with help of this particular new transaction, we can reassociate with the persistent manager. Getting the point? With the help of this particular new transaction, again, we can move again back into the persistent state here. We can back into the persistent state here. So how we are going to get the new transaction with help of this particular? So we are having some methods here. We are having some methods here. With the help of this particular method, we can back into the persistent here. So what are the method here? Update method and save or update. Getting the point. And we can go for the lock method as well. So these are the three methods here. These are the three methods. Using this particular three method, now what we are doing is whatever the objects which are in the detached state, so again we are taking back into the persistent state here. We are taking back into the persistent state here with the help of this particular three methods here. With the help of this particular three methods. And from the transient state, getting the point. So from the transient state here, if I want to move, from the persistent state to, I want to move to the transient here. So what is one more step here? Because now we identify the objects are already in the detached state. The objects are already in the detached state. With help of this particular three method, we are taking back into the persistent state. Right. And those objects are now inside the persistent state. So I want to take it back to the transient state. I want to take it back to the persistent transient state here. So here we are having one more method here. So what is the method? Delete here. So with help of this particular delete here, now what I'm doing here, the object we are trying to remove from this. We are trying to remove from this particular persistent state with help of session here. So it's nothing but we are trying to delete the object from the session here. We are trying to delete the object from the session here. So how we are going to delete here? Session dot delete method. The current object, whatever the object we are having, those objects are deleted from the session. Again, it will back to the transient state here. It will back to the transient state. So this is very important here. This is very important here. So how this particular, the life cycle of this particular objects are going to work. So whenever the object we are creating, it is in the transient state, and whenever we are trying to save or update, the object is moving into the persistent state, and whenever we close this particular session, it will go back to the detached state. So with the help of this particular session, if I'm going to call update, save or update and log, again it will back to the persistent state, and whenever we'll call the delete method, it will come back to the normal state called transient state, right? And we are having one more option here. So basically, once object is in the transient state here, getting the point. So once object is in this transient state here, this object no longer assists to any session here, but directly we can move into the persistent state. Directly we can move into this particular persistent state here. So what are the methods we are having to move persistent state here? Getting the point. So here we will have different method. The first method, get method, and load method, find method. Getting the point. And we'll have some iterate related method, right? So based on this particular four method, what we are doing is, so whatever the object is not associated to any transient state or persistent state, directly now what we are doing is, so directly we are trying to move into the persistent state here. Getting the point. Directly we are trying to move into the persistent state here. So this is all about the entire life cycle of the persistent object here. So how it is moving one by one the life cycle state here. Okay. So we'll see with a simple example how these particular objects are going to identify here. But now if you observe the scope of this particular object identity here. Basically in the Java application here, how we are going to identify whether the both objects are equal here. We are having two options here. So we'll have two options here with the help of this particular double equal to operator. So for example, we are having A and B objects here. So A equals to B, and we'll go for the A dot get ID dot equals to the B dot get ID. Getting the point. So we'll try to connect our example when we are trying to discuss the Java related example. Here we'll try to check whether the two objects are equal or not. We'll go for the double equal to operator, or we can go for the equals method to compare the IDs of the given objects here. Getting the point. So here okay. So back to here, with help of this particular two ways, we are going to perform whether the objects are equal or not. In the same way, in our Hibernate here, we'll try to identify with help of this particular primitive persistence layer here. We'll try to find out whether the particular row is associated with twice or the row is associated with only once here. We'll try to identify with help of this particular three ways we are going to identify in our Hibernate here. So first one, primitive persistence layer, and process scope identity. Okay. So observe how we are going to identify this particular scope of identity with the help of this particular transition scope. We'll try to find out the ways here. Okay, let's see how we can identify this object. So now, any questions about this particular life cycle of the object here? Anyone having any questions regarding this particular life cycle? Okay, so we'll go for the simple example to understand the object identity, how we can understand here. So okay, so don't worry the lock method. So we'll see the basic example on the lock, how it is going to work internally. We'll have a simple example here. So just I explain here how it's going to work with the diagrammatic here, but we'll see with help of this simple example how each and every object is moving, transients to persistence and everything here. So now, first we need to understand the object loading here. Okay. Now you can see here what I need to do. I want to comment out this particular session dot save also. And here, now what I'm doing here, I will try to add information here. Basically, so let's see whether we created the category objects or not. So maybe I think we did not show the category information. So otherwise, now what we will do, we'll try to load the item objects information. So we are having session and transaction here. So with help of this particular session and transaction, what I will do, session dot load here. I will call here the particular class item dot class and serializable ID. So what is an ID we are having inside this particular item? So we'll see, sorry, 3. Getting the point. Session dot load. Session dot load here. It's trying to returning one object here, item 1. I'm loading one more object here. With the help of same ID, I'm trying to load one more object here. Now if you observe here, I want to make one condition here. Item 1 equals to item 2. Now what we can do? So both objects are same. Right. And we'll try to find out the one more way. So we'll see, like we'll try to put a breakpoint here. We can understand here whether this particular two objects are equal or not. Now if you observe, so these two objects are equal here. So when you request this particular two objects using the same database ID here, right? But within the same session. Getting the point? Within the same session. And these two objects are referring only the same object here. Because of this, we are getting true here. But now, if you observe carefully, what I am doing here, I'm closing this. With help of this particular, there is a session factory. Now what I will do, here I am going to open session. Session 2, right? So with help of this particular session 2, now what I am doing here, I will try to find out the one more transaction here. Session 2 dot begin transaction. So this is also transaction 2, right? And what I will do, I will try to connect our example with help of this particular session 2 here. Session 2 and control X the object. Here we can make the object here. Here we can make the particular object here. And now, okay. So we'll see how this particular example is going to return here. So one more transaction is opening here. So transaction is trying to take some more time. Okay. So object is loaded here. Now if you observe here, even though we are trying to load the object based on the same ID, but both objects are not equal here. Both the objects are not equal. Getting the point. Now what you are understanding here? So whenever we are trying to save object within the same session, every time it will try to return the same object information. Every time it will try to return the same object. But whenever the object is changed here, what is happening internally? So we are getting false here. Both objects are not equal here. Getting the point. So this is, we need to understand very carefully here the scope of object identity here. So how it is performing here. But now you can see in the same Java application here, so this object here will become true here. Because of this particular different session here, the objects we are getting differently here. So this information I want to provide here. Whenever we want to load the data, even though the ID is the same, but it will try to return those objects are unique here. Those objects are unique here. Right. Now if you observe, we will see outside of this particular identity scope here. So within the scope, how it is maintaining it. But if I'm going to say outside of this particular example, outside of this particular session example, how these objects are going to return here. Right. Basically, usually we are not going to maintain the database transaction across our user interaction. So the database transaction is going to handle by the Hibernate here, and Hibernate is going to support the reassociation detached instance here. Getting the point. Hibernate is going to support the reassociation detached instances. So we identified with help of this particular these three methods, we can reassociate the detached object into the persistence here. Now that reassociation is nothing but is going to take care of the Hibernate persistence manager here. The persistence manager here. Okay. Now we'll observe how this particular the persistence manager is going to work here. And internally, if we want to implement the equal sign hash code here, how we can implement. So we don't want to provide more about the equal sign hash code method. We already we identified in the previous example. So if we want to implement hash code method, equal sign hash code method, how we can write here? Because so we are going to compare the two objects, whether this particular two objects are equal here, even though whenever we are trying to load the object with a different session here. So simple, I want to provide for this particular user class. Now if you see the equals method, how we can write here, how we can define this particular equals method. So basically we are not implementing anything. We are trying to take the help of from the superclass equals method. If you observe here, I'm trying to checking the condition. The current object is equals to obj. Current object is equals to the obj. Now what we can do, return true. Return true. So otherwise, now what we can do, we can make one more condition here. So this particular ID, what is an ID we are having? The user ID equals to null. The user ID is equals to null. Now what we can do, we can make false here. And we can make the one more condition. We can make the one more condition. If you observe here, this particular obj instance of user. If this particular obj instance of user, we can return true. But here, now what I'm doing here, I want to make one more brace here. I want to make not. If it is not a user, we can return false. Getting the point. Now we'll see how many conditions we are making. So finally, now what we can do here, user is equals to user obj. Now I'm trying to converting into user object. So once we converted user object here, I want to check the ID here. So this dot ID is equals to user dot get ID. And instead of is equals to here, now what we can do, we can make the equals condition. Observe here how we are implementing this particular equals method. So internally, we are checking the current object equal or not. If the ID is null, we are returning false. Whatever the object we made, it is not equals to the user. We are making the false. And finally, we are returning whatever the object we are getting, and we are converting into user. Finally, we are checking IDs. If the IDs are equal here, we can return the true. Right. And hash code here. So hash code is nothing but simply for ID, we can generate the hash code here. And if I'm going to get the hash code from the superclass, so just simply we'll call the superclass method here. But now observe what I'm doing here. Return ID equals to null. So we are having inside this particular system, we are going to have one method here. System dot identity hash code here. Identity hash code based on this particular current object. So we'll return this. Otherwise, id dot hash code here. Getting the point. So we will call the system related one method here to generate the hash code here based on this particular current object here. And otherwise, what we are doing here, with help of this particular ID, we are trying to generate the hash code here. Based on this particular ID, we are generating the hash code here. So this is all about the hash code generation here. Equals method, hash code method. So using this particular equals method and hash code method, now what we are doing here, we are trying to checking the object to comparison. Even though if it is in the different session or in the current session, we'll call the equals method, we'll return the whether the object is equal or not. Okay. So other than this, now what we can do, we can go for the another information. So instead of checking the ID, if we want to check other conditions here, what are the other conditions we can check here? We can go for the username and password here. Because we are having different properties here, we can go for the username and password here. So with the help of this particular username password condition also we can make here. How we provided the return type here. Same way, we can make the condition if it's the username not equals to the given object username, we'll return false. Same way, for the password also. This is a way also we can generate the equals method and do hash code method. So these are the simple example on the equals and hash code method. To understand if I'm trying to load the object from with a different session, we can return object equal or not. Okay. So back to here, so we are discussing about the persistence manager here. So how this particular persistence manager is going to work. With the help of this particular persistence manager, we can perform some CUD operations here. CUD operation is nothing but we can perform the insertion, updation, and deletion and load the objects here. So these are the operation we can perform with the help of this particular persistent manager here. Right. And along with the basic CUD operations here, we are going to work on the query execution, and we are going to handle some of the transactions here. Getting the point. So these are some advantage we can get from the persistence manager here. So we'll see how exactly the persistent manager is going to work. The persistent manager is a combination of some of the interfaces here. So what exactly the persistent manager is having the interfaces here. So the interfaces we are having here, first one is session, query, criteria, and transaction. So based on this particular four interface, the the persistent manager is implemented here, and all these particular four transactions are going to take the help from the session. So because session is the high level, getting the point, high level interface here. So and we can call it as the central interface between all the remaining interfaces here. So with the help of this particular session, we can perform all the operations here. Session is going to create the query, and the same session is it's going to create the criteria, and the same session is going to generate the transactions here. Right, getting the point. Now we can think about how much is the session is important here. Okay, now what I'm doing here, I will try to work on the per- persistent objectives. So how we are going to make the persistent objectives. So the simple example here, in the previous example, how we identified here, we'll try to check with the message related example. Here, I want to comment out these two sections here. And so this is also we want to comment out. Up to the begin transaction, we can keep it. Now observe. So if we want to load here, how we are going to write the simple information here. So we already identified here. The simple example on the user table. Let's see the user. Okay, user we added. Inside this particular user, we are having two components here. So to remove to store the object information inside within the same object here. And back to here. So we'll keep as it is the properties information here. Going for the main class. So user is equals to new user. So with help of this particular user, new user, now what I will do, so user dot username. Getting the point. So user dot username. Now what I will do, simply I will provide John and some password here. Password also I want to make John only. Now what I will do, and with help of this particular session factory session transaction, we are going to save this particular object here. Session dot right, and finally we'll try to commit the transaction. And here we are having commit the transaction and we are closing the session. So what is happening internally? Cutting the point. And here we are trying to creating the, with help of this particular new, we are creating one transient object here. So home state. Okay. So going for the Hibernate properties. So we'll regenerate the table here. We'll regenerate the table because the table structure we use the previous one, so which is expecting different values here. Now you can see the table, the data is inserted into the user table. So if I'm going to run this particular HPC underscore user, the username and password it is inserted here. But we need to understand here, with the help of this particular new keyword, we are creating the transients object here, and we are converting into persistent with the help of this particular session.save. Right. Whenever we are calling this particular session.save method, what is doing it? So it is now the object is persisted here. Now it is associated with our current session here. Getting the point. And the session is not going to execute any SQL statements. Getting the point. So this is we need to understand very carefully here. This particular session, whatever the session we are trying to work here to save this particular object here. The session is not going to generate any SQL query. But who is going to generate the SQL query here? But it's going to generated by the transaction whenever we are going to commit the particular transaction here. Getting the point. So once we are committing the transaction, Hibernate is going to generate the particular insert query to store the data into the database here. To store the data into the database here. So whenever we are trying to call this particular save method, what is happening internally? Like here, the object at the time of when we call the save, which is called, and we can modify this particular object. We can modify this particular object with help of this particular save method. But internally, the Hibernate is going to generate the update query here, because within the same, session and the same object, we are trying to update the information, right? Whenever we are having the particular ID same here, what it will do, Hibernate is going to generate the update query here, even though we are going to call the particular save here, So this is very important, we need to understand here. So now the simple example we identified, from the transient state we moved to the persistent state. But now from the persistent state to how we can move the detached state here. How we can move the detached state here. Getting the point. So if you observe, so modifying this particular user after the particular session is closed here. After the session is closed, we already identified once the session is closed, those objects are moving into the detached here. And the database, the objects no longer associated with our database here whenever the session is closed here. And now observe how we are going to reassociate the session. We reassociate the session by calling this particular update method. Right. Now observe here, this particular, copy these two sections of information. Otherwise, cut these two. We can make here. Getting the point. Now what I will do, I will change here. So I want to make as the second user as well here, and password also I want to make same here. But now if you observe here, so what I'm doing here, so we update this particular information. We update based on this particular first session, we'll try to save the data. And later, now what I'm doing here, I want to set this particular password, with a different name. So otherwise, okay, we'll keep same here. Once the session is closed, we'll go for these two information, session 2 and transaction 2, right? So these are the different transaction here. With the help of this particular session 2, we are going to create the one more transaction, and here what I will do, the same user object here. Whatever the user object we are having, the same user object here, I'm trying to update the password here. I'm trying to update the password. So initial password it is username and password. So we save here. Sorry, we saved here and we close the session. We already identified once it is closed, it will move into the detached here. Now what I'm doing here, I'm trying to update the password here. And one more session we created here, one more transaction also we created. So with the help of this particular session 2, I'm calling update method here. And here, so what is the object we can update? The object call user. Right. So once we update here, now what we can do, we can commit the transaction and we can close the session here. So these are the two transaction and two sessions here. So we'll see whether this particular object is updating or not. Now if you observe here, so these two are the first save, and this is for second one. This is for the second here, session 2 dot update here. Now what you are understanding is, with help of this particular update, again, now what we are doing here, we are trying to reassociating the detached object into the persistent. Now we will see, now you can see, basically initially username and password we made as a Hazel, and the password we changed here. Now it is connected to the updated password here. So now you can see where we are calling it the set password here after closing the session. After closing the session, we are setting the password, and with help of session 2, with help of this particular session 2, what we are doing is we are updating the existing user here, so that we are moving back to the from the detached state into the persistent here. Getting the point. So this is all about the particular object here. Now if we observe lock method, so we can go for the lock method. So instead of updating here, I want to go for the lock here, and the password I want to make as a lock here. So just for understanding here, I'm making lock here. Now you can see lock here. So user comma, we're having different lock modes here. So for current example, we don't want to make any locks here. Current example, we don't want to make any locks here. So just here, now what I'm doing is, I'm trying to call the lock method. I'm trying to call this particular lock method to update the particular object here. Okay. Now if you see, basically the lock is deprecated here. So just we can focus on the update here. But even though if it is deprecated, we can run this particular example, whether it is updating or not. Now observe only insert query. We did not see the select query. We'll see. So what is the information we are having? So Hazel and Hazel here. Getting the point? But it is not updated here. Right. So we'll discuss about this particular log here. Now what we are doing here? So we are not perform any version logs here. Whenever we are making this particular log mode none here, we are not going to make any logs here. So we can provide some logging system here, reading the data or upgrading, getting the point. So we'll have a different log modes here. So now you can see these are the enum types we are having. So each enum type will have each purpose is. Okay, we'll discuss more about this particular log information here. But now observe why this particular data is not updated here. So we'll see after logging here. Now observe the record is updated here. Getting the point. So this is the all about our log method. Now if you see, if I'm going to run the same query, the user ID 1, username Hazel, and log we are getting. Previously, what is the password we get here? Whatever the username we are having, the same username. But now we are getting the password log here. So with help of this particular log method, we are able to come back to the persistent state here. So which is earlier it is in the detached state here. So this is all about the log method. But the enum, like each enum, we can discuss in our upcoming classes here. Just I want to provide the simple information recording here from the detached object into the persistent object here. Okay, now, so we already identified here the dirty checking example here. Whenever we are inside the same session and the transaction here, so without saving here, without calling the session.save, session.update here, we can update the records here. So how we are going to update the record here? With help of this particular automatic dirty checking here. Automatic dirty checking here. But now if you observe one more information I want to provide here. So these are the object we saved here. Now save this particular Hibernate properties with help of update here. Okay, so back to here inside this particular main. Now we identified, sorry, where is our diagram? So from the transient state we identified here. So we moved into the persistent. From the persistent to detached we identified. And from the detached to again we identify persistent here. Okay, but one is pending from the persistent to transient, we will see later. But now observe, so directly without having any reference here, how we can move into the persistent here, how we can move into the persistent state here. Here this object is no longer, like here we are not creating any object here with help of this particular new. Getting the point. So using these methods here, how directly we can enter into the persistent state here. So this we are going to discuss here. Now observe. So to understand here, now what we can do, we can comment all the section of codes here. All the section of codes I'm going to comment here. And now observe, with help of this particular ID directly, now what we are doing here, we are entering into persistent state here. Session.get here. And here we are going to work on the user class. The ID we can provide. We are having one. We are having one here. So this is all about the particular user object we are loading here. Okay. So user object we loaded. So now if we want to print will print our username. Now what you are understanding here, now you can see, so there is no the object, like we are not using any new keyword to create object here. So without creating any object here, now directly we are making persistent state object here. Now you can see the particular username is printing here Hazel. So on the console we can see, but now what you are understanding directly, this particular object, the user object is now associated with our this particular session. So whenever we are calling this particular get method, now what we are doing is we are directly moving into the persistent state here. Right. So this is a different way to load the object. Without earlier, it does not have into the persistent like a transient or detached here. Now you can see, so this part, one more example we want to discuss here. The current example, whatever the example we are going to discuss is, so this object also, it is not associated with any transient, persistent and detached here. But with the help of this particular get method, we are moving into the persistent state, and without calling the update method, we are trying to update the records here. Okay, let's see. Here we are loading the object information. After loading, now what I want to write here, I want to change the username here. I want to change the username here. So the username here, so update username. Now you can see I'm not writing any session dot save here. Session dot save I'm not writing it. Simply we'll write here transaction commit and session close. So there is no session dot save here. Now you can see the simple example here, whether this particular username is going to updated or not. This particular username, now you can see update the username, and without calling the session dot save or session dot save or update, we are able to say update query here. We are able to see update query here. Now what you are understanding is, whenever we are in the same session and same transaction, without calling the session.save or update and save method, the data is updated into the database here. Now we'll go for the CA user here. Now you can see update the username here. So previously the username we are having Hazel. Now it is updated to the update the username here. So this is a way we can connect our application here without calling the session.save or session.update here. So this is all about the simple example on the life cycle example here, how we connected here. Okay. The final one, we need to work on the user like a delete operation. So this is our pending operation we are having. So up to this, the persistent to state 2, we are not connecting to the transient state here. We are not connecting into the transient state here. Now if you observe, here we are loading an object here. Here we are trying to load the object here. So now what I will do, I'm commenting these 2 lines of code, but here session.delete here. So what is an object I am trying to delete here? User. So this object is deleted from the session, but this object is available. Now if you see, after closing the session also, user dot get username. User dot get username. Now we'll try to run the same example here. Now you can see the object is deleted from the session, but still we are able to access the object here after closing the session. Getting the point? After closing the session also, we are able to access the username. The username is printing. The username is printing here. Now what you are understanding here, so we are entering into the transient state. We are entering into the transient state here. So there is no relation between the session transaction. This particular object is no longer associated with our session or transaction here. But without object is available with session and transaction, we are accessing. But if I am going to see, this object is no longer available. This object is no longer is available in the database, and the same way this object is no longer available in our application. Why? And this user is deleted from the session, but there is no reference to use here. The references, all the references are deleted here. Once all the references are deleted here, this particular object is eligible for our garbage collection here. So this object is eligible for our garbage collection here, right? So this is all about the life cycle of each and every example what we discuss here. Now, so what I am going to write here, cascade related example. In the previous example, we identified the cascade whenever we are trying to discuss about the item here. Now you can see here we are making cascade all here. So what is the purpose of this particular cascade? This particular purpose of this particular cascade here, whenever we are trying to work on the association here, whenever we are trying to work on the association, what is doing internally? The dependent, like whenever we are going to connect it with multiple objects here. Now, for example, this particular item is connected with bits here. Let me open the bit object and item object here. Now observe, this item is having multiple bits here. This particular item is having multiple bits record. Same way, this particular bit having only one item here. This particular bit having only one item. Now what you are understanding here, the relation? So the relation bit to item, we are having many to one, and item to bit, we are having one to many. Getting the point? So bit to item, we are having many to one, and item to bit, we are having one to many. So same thing, if I'm going to open item dot hbm.xml here, so here you can see one to many relation. Here we are having one to many relation. And the same way, if I'm going to open this particular bit here, sorry, not a class, not it is a mapping file. So if I'm going to open the bit mapping file here, many to one, we're having many to one here. So like basically these are the basic association we identified in the last class. But what exactly the cascade is going to work here? The cascade here, if I'm trying to update this particular bit records, if I'm trying to update this particular bit records, it will try to automatically, it needs to update it by the other records here. What is the other record we are having in the association? Something called item here. So without calling the update here, without the session.update of item, so explicitly, implicitly, it needs to update the other table information here. The other table information inside the example here, item. When we are trying to update or when we are trying to delete the bit related information, so whatever the association we are having, the item table with this particular bit records, all the records are going to delete it, and all the records are going to update it here. Getting the point? So this is all about the association here, and how we are going to get this information with help of this particular cascade here. With help of this particular cascade is going to take care of the other table information here. Now inside this we are having different operations here. So if I'm going to make this particular cascade none here, the cascade none, what is doing here? It's not going to update any, it's not going to do any other operations here. Like whenever we are trying to update the main table, it will not update it into the dependent table here. So this is indicating cascade none here. Cascade none. Okay. And the same way we are having the yesterday we identified save hyphen update here. We identified save hyphen update here. So in the last example, we used to connect to this particular save hyphen update here. So what exactly it will perform here? Whenever we are trying to perform the save and update operations here, so the depend table, so whatever the table we are between the primary key and foreign key relations, so the tables are going to updated and the tables are saved here. So this is all about the cascade here. And we can go for the one more here, delete here. We can go for the delete here. Only the deleted related information is going to updated here. Only the deleted related information is going to updated here. And final one, we can make all here. Whenever we are making all here, what is doing internally? It will try to perform all the operations here. Insertion, updation, deletion, all the operations are going to handle here. Getting the point? So this is all about the the cascade related example here. Now, so we need to understand the category related example. So earlier we created one category here, parent category and child categories here. Parent category and child category. But here, if you observe, all the parent category and child categories are working with which table? All are working with the same table called category here. All are working in the same category table. So as of now, we did not create any category.hbm.file here. So now what I will do, I will create a category dot hbm.xml. And now what I am doing here, I will click on finish here. So once we click on this particular finish, and save into this particular category.hbm.file. And what we can define here, category, and the table also I want to write same thing here. Category and category information long and ID we need to change here. Category ID and what are the properties we are having. So what are the properties we are having here inside this particular category? Only one property we are having, something called name, and we can change here name of this particular category. Category name and string it is not null, and we can delete so this particular property, and we'll keep this particular many to one. Okay. And if we observe here, first we need to think about the category. Inside this particular category we are having child category. The child category we are having with the help of this particular setter tag. Now what we can do, we can go for the same setter tag here. The name of this particular setter tag what we provided here, child category, and we can make this particular inverse true. Getting the point? And we can go for the cascade all. We can go for the cascade all here. And what about the particular key? And the key we can make here the child categories we can make here category ID or parent category ID we can make here. Basically we can make the parent category ID. Okay. So before making the parent category, now what we can do? So we need to write here one more tag here. Many to one tag. Where is our many to one? Enable this particular many to one. The item we are having parent here. parent category we are having, and the column we are going to make as a parent category underscore ID. And what is the class we need to make here? Category. So we already identified these are the information here, and we can go for the not null. Not null we can remove, and we can go for the cascade. The cascade I want to make none. Why I want to make none here? We are not going to, if I'm not updating the parent category, so we don't want to update any information here. Sometimes we'll keep the parent category as a null here. Okay, now observe, here we need to provide the child category, the primary key here, parent category ID. So we already discussed here, the key is going to work on the primary key and foreign key references here. And here one to many. So this particular one to many is going to associate with which class? It will become category only. Getting the point. So this is the way we can define the category information here. With alpha, we can go for the native. Right? We created the category object here. So whenever we are creating this particular category object here, how we are going to insert the information. And now you can see we'll have a different categories here. We'll have a different categories here. So if you observe, so inside this particular section, I want to write, and here the main category something called electronics. Okay, so this is all about the electronics here, and so we can make this is the different category called electronic category, and we can make one more category here, cell phone category, and we can write one more category here, something called computer related category here. Right, and now observe, basically the electronics having cell phones and computer. So inside this particular computer we are having so two more categories here. What are the two more categories we are having? Desktop. Getting the point. So this is the one category we are having, desktop here, and we can go for the another category here, something called monitors here. Monitors. Okay. So these are about the some of the categories we are having here. So we'll try to understand the regarding this particular categories, how exactly so it's going to work internally. Okay. Now you can see, so some of the are transient objects, some of the are persistent objects, and some of the are. So we'll try to find out the detached object information here. We created the table. Now I want to connect with our application with help of this particular category. So first, now what I'm doing here. First, what I will do, I will try to create the category here. So we'll see whether this. So first we are creating the basic table. I think we are not created as of now. Okay, now go for the main class. We are not having category section here. Okay, so we created category here, and I want to comment out. So these are the section of code here, and here now what I want to write here. First we want to insert here category here. So category object we created. And what is the category I want to take initially? Electronics. Category dot set only name here. I want to take only name here. The name of this particular category electronics, right? And we'll save this particular object here. Session dot save here. Category I'm saving it. And after saving this particular category, now what I will do, I will copy the transaction signed session dot close. We identified this is our main category. Now you can see, so that category table is created here and it is inserted some values. So to understand here, now what we can do, select star from category. Now you can see the name of the category we are having electronics here. So this is our parent category. So as of now, for this particular category, we don't have, getting the point, we don't have any records here. So we need to make the child categories. What are the child categories we are having here? Cell phones and computer. So let's see here, electronics is our main parent category, cell phones and computer here. Okay, now we need to add two child categories here. We need to add two child categories. So to add these two child categories, now what I will do, so what is an ID we are having for this particular category? So ID we are having two. Okay. And now we can see the particular ID transaction category. We don't want to save one more time here. I want to comment out three section of code. And here, with the help of this particular session dot get here, category dot class and ID. What is an ID we are having here? New long, new long we are having two. Okay, and here and convert into the category format here. Okay, so we convert into the category here. We are trying to load the category, and now what I am doing here, I'm trying to creating a child categories here. So once we load this particular object here, we need to copy this and here this particular category for cell phones. Getting the point. So this particular cell phone we are creating it and make it C as a capital. Getting the point. And now what I want to write here, category, sorry, this is not the category. Basically, we want to make cell phone category here. Cell phone category set name we defined here. And with the help of this particular category, now what I am doing here. This is important here. Dot get child categories and add. And cell phone category I am adding. Right? Cell phone category I am adding here. And same way for this particular category or for this particular cell phone category, don't confuse here. So we are making the relations here. Cell phone category dot set to parent category. So parent category we are having category. Getting the point. And we need to create one more object here. We need to create one more object here. Here I want to create. And for this, what is another one? Computer. So the second one we are having same, right? Cell phones we created. Now we are trying to creating computers here. Now observe, here we need to change here the name here, computer. And let me change this also, computer category dot child category here. And set to parent category. What is our parent category? We are having category. So this is all about the two child categories I'm creating. But now you can see, so this is also a real-time example. Now this is the, while purchasing some items here, we'll have a different categories here. If you go to any electronic store here, some of the item we are going to make inside the based on the category wise. We are trying to filter in the like item based on the category. How we are going to filter here? So this is based on the category wise only. We are going to filter the items here. If you go to any e-commerce website, you can see some drop-down values here. So those drop-down values they will consider as a categories here. Now observe here. So these are the different categories we are trying to creating here. If I'm going to run this particular application, so now you can see how many SQL queries are generated here. So these are the two insert SQL queries here, and something we are getting sequence here. We are loading the category information. We'll try to run the same query here, the category object here. Now observe the parent category we are having electronics here, and child category is cell phones and computer. But these two are pointing to the parent category 2. Getting the point? The parent category we are having 2. So this is very important. We need to understand the joins here. So all the tables we are storing inside the same table only, but with the help of parent and child here. Parent and child. Whenever we are trying to load the computer, we can identify what is the parent category. The parent category we are having electronics here. Now you can see the diagram here, parent category electronics, and we are having 2 child. And for this particular computer, again we are having 2 childs here. For this particular computer, again we are having 2 childs here. How we can insert this particular 2 records here? How we can insert this particular 2 records here? Okay. Now what is an ID we want to load? The category we need to load this particular object here. ID 4. Whenever we are loading, we are going to get a computer here. We are going to get a computer. So for this particular computer, we are going to make as a parent here. Now if you observe, here I want to give as a 4 here. I want to give as a 4 here. So we are going to get the category. So this is the computer category. And sorry, here desktop and monitors here. So we'll go for this one, desktop. Okay. So now here we want to make the particular capital D, and we are making desktop here. And here also we need to make the parent category computer. And the same way, here we can go for the monitor. Here we can go for the monitor here. And change this particular computer as a monitor, and monitor. Save this. If I'm going to run the same example one more time, now you can see. So again, multiple records are inserted queries we have seen. Now you can see the parent category is changed here. The parent category is changed here. Now we are getting 4 years. So initially we got 2, right? For the parent category, we don't have a parent category null. We don't have a parent category. But these are the object, main object we are having. So 5, 6 and monitor and desktop is pointing to the 4, and the cell phones and computers pointing to the 2, and electronics is our parent category. Parent category, right? So this is the way we can create a multiple categories. Inside this particular multiple categories, we can store the particular appropriate item here. Now if you observe, if I'm going to run the same example with item here, if I'm going to run the same example with item here, now how we are going to write? And we'll create the category here, simple category object we are creating. For this particular monitor, we'll create a price, getting the point. We'll create a price, what is the name of the item. Inside this particular monitor category, we'll create a different monitors. So for example, Lenovo monitor, something called Dell monitors, right? And each monitor we are going to have a different price. Okay, so the different price section where we are going to provide inside this particular bid here. Inside this particular bid, we are having amount here. Getting the point. So how the each classes are joining here. Now if you see inside this bid, we are making the price of the particular item, and the item we are going to get from this particular item class, and name of the item, and item description here, and this particular item is going to associate with our category here. This particular item is going to associate with this particular category, whether the item is comes under the which category we are going to create, right? So this is all about the simple example on the category related. Now we'll try to make the category item and bid after completion of the transaction related example here. So if we want to create any one more category, now what we can do, we can go for the category and we can create the child categories, and we can store the data here. We can store the particular data. So section 1 and section 2 means like where you want to create. Sorry, session 1 and session 2. Okay. So basically, now if you observe, the parent category we created with the session 1. So if we are trying to create two different sessions here, but how we are going to make the relation here? But if you see here, we are making the parent category here. Okay, now the same example we can create it. So for example, now what we can do, for this particular, we can go for the monitor. Okay, let's see what is the monitor we are having. 5. I want to change here 5 here, and we're loading category object with the session. Okay, and these two sections I want to work on the one more another session here. Session 2 we created here. we create a transaction 2. So inside this particular transaction 2, now what I will do, I will copy the section of code into transaction 2 here. And for this particular monitor, I want to define the, okay, so instead of loading the monitor, we can go for the computer. So inside this particular computer, we'll create a laptop related information. Okay. So we can keep here 4 only. Computer related category we are going to get. So once we get this particular computer related category, now what I will do, I'm creating here, so one more category, something called laptops here. And this is the laptop category. Once we created this particular laptop category, now what I'm doing is I'm creating, so 3 objects here. Three objects I'm creating. So first one laptop and the second one laptop accessories here. And ls I want to make. Otherwise, LA we can create here. And here we can go for the another one. Tablet here. Tablet PCs we are going to create here. Now if you see how many objects we created, 3 objects here. 3 objects are having child here. 3 objects are having child here. Now if you observe, for this particular laptop here, now what I'm doing is I'm trying to creating a child records here. Add child record here. First one we need to make as a LA. For another one, we can go for the tablet. Okay. So now if you observe carefully here, what we are doing is, so we created we are trying to load the computer related category in the session, and in the session 2 we are creating one laptop category as a base. For this particular laptop category, again we are having 2 child categories here. So laptop accessories and so something called tablet PCs here. Right. Now later, now what I'm doing here, these 2 are appending with the child category to this particular laptop, and finally now what I'm doing is category dot add child category. Here I want to make laptops and remove this section of code here. Remove this section of code here. Now what we can do, here I'm making here, and we need to save this particular object first, because now we are inside the another session. Now what we can do to save this particular session, we need to call here which object we need to save. We need to save category. Because we are in the different session, we need to save the object here. Let me run the same Java application here. Now what you are understanding here, now you can see, so only the category we loaded here. The category it is loaded. After loading here, failed to lazily initialize the collection. No session. Session was closed here. Getting the point? No session and session was closed here. So we are getting a session related exception here. Getting the point? Because we are trying to updating the multiple records here, we are not going to work on the same session here. Now, if we observe, if I'm going to comment out here, now if you observe the same example, at this time we'll get a different exception. So illegally attempting to access a proxy with the two open sessions. Okay, so which one we can close here? Which one we can close? If I'm going to close the session, the first session, we cannot perform the exception. So can I close this particular session 2 here and transaction 2? After saving the data, if I'm going to close the transaction 2 and session 2, we'll see what will happening here. So again, we are getting two sessions here. Now what you are understanding here? So we cannot perform the one operation in the one session and with the same object we cannot work with another session here. Getting the point? We cannot work with another session here because we are trying to updating multiple records here. Now if you see the same category information, if I'm going to make here and if I will remove this section of code and if I'm going to enable this, so we are loading based on ID and we are creating category and some again we are trying to create the laptop categories and everything. Now we can observe, so without any exception, I believe the data is inserted. Now see, now we can observe how this particular objects are created. How this particular objects are created. So laptop is also parent category for these two sections. Getting the point? And this particular laptop is coming from the computer. The laptop is coming from the computer and desktop also coming from the computer and monitor also coming from the computer. So cell phone and computers coming from the electronics here. So see the hierarchy how this particular objects we created as of now. So if you observe, I want to remove what happening. Okay, it's not moving. I'm going to create the hierarchy here. So the base hierarchy we are having here. The base hierarchy we are having here, electronics here. What happened? So it is not working. Okay, so we don't need to write the category. So electronic category we identified here and the second one what we identified here, cell phones and here computers, right? For cell phone we don't have any information here. For computer we are having so three information I think. For computer 4 we are having three records, monitor, desktop and monitor, desktop, finally laptop, right? And for this laptop, tablet and PC, and the final one we are having, these are the records here. Now if you observe the hierarchy, how we made here. So this is the hierarchy we implemented. For this particular computer, this is the hierarchy we implemented. And for this particular laptop here, how we implemented, this is all about the hierarchy here. Getting the point. And if we want to make for the monitor and desktop, we can create a one more category here. One more category here, right? This is the way we can create the categories here. But what we need to focus here, the mapping document is very important here. How we are going to make the mapping document? So this is very important here. Just we are having the category name, and we are having many to one relations. So why we are making the many to one here? Many categories we are going to have with our parent category here. So what are the many we are going to have here? The many we are going to have category object to the parent category. Getting the point? To the parent category. And what is the parent category also? We are having same here. But what we need to identify, wherever we are trying to work on the many to one or one to many. So if it is starting from the one to many, we need to go for the class name. The class will have a one object. And if it is starting from the many to one, so we need to check for the same class. So the class will act as a multiple records here. In our case, so many to one. This class is acting as a many to like multiple category, but internally we define the one more class. We define the one more class. This particular class is going to act as a one object here. This particular class is going to act as a one object, and we created some set of records here. We created some set of records here. For this particular set of records, we made the set tag, and we are making the reference, the primary key and the foreign key with parent category. And here we are having many to, like one to many. One to many here. This is our parent object we are having, and we are making to the one to many records here. Right? So these all about the association of recording parent category and child category with help of this particular category objects here. Okay, and so detached instance we don't want to discuss here. Retrieving an object here. So as of now, we are trying to store the data into the database here. How we can retrieve the data here? How we can load the data? So with help of this particular, we are having three ways we can load with help of the session related methods here, the get method and load method here. So first we'll see the difference between get method and load method here. Okay, so to load this particular get method and load method, now we'll try to understand here. So begin transaction. Okay. So we don't want to close the session and the transaction here. Now observe session dot get method. Session dot get method. Now what is an object we can give? So again we can go for this particular category. Again we can go for the category. So up to how many records we are having here? 11. Now what I am doing here, I want to give 12 here. I want to give 12 here. Let me run this particular example. Now if you observe, select query is generated. We are not writing any sys out here. So for example, here I am going to write println statement here, category not equals to null. What I will do, okay. So category not equals to null here. What I will do, category dot get name. So otherwise, I want to print null here. Getting the point? Otherwise, I want to print null. So if you observe carefully, so we define one println statement here. So what is the value we are getting here? Now we can see null we are getting. Why we are getting the null here? Because based on this particular ID 12, in the category table, we don't have a record here. Up to 11 only we are having here. Right. So same thing, if I'm going to connect with our load here. Same thing, if I'm going to connect with our load, now we'll see what happening internally. Now you can see we are getting an exception here. Getting the point? We are getting an exception. What is the name of the exception here? Object not found exception with help of this particular no row with a given identifier here. So whatever the ID we given, based on this particular ID, we don't have a record in our database. For this, we are getting an exception whenever we are trying to call the load method. The same we are going to call from the get, we are not getting any exception. Simply, it is returning null here. So see the difference here. See the difference between the load method and get method here. Basically, these two methods will try to perform the data. First, it will check for the cache. In the cache, if we are having any object, it will try to load from the cache. So otherwise, it will try to hit the database. It will try to load the data. Right. But get method, based on the ID, if the data is not found, it will return the null. But load method is throwing an exception. Getting the point? But the both method is trying to perform the loading an object from the database here. Getting the point? And one more example we want to discuss about the HQL. So HQL and criteria, with the help of this particular HQL, we'll try to connect with our query criteria. So in our upcoming classes here. Getting the point? And we'll try to find out some fetching related information here. So how we can work on the fetching strategies here? We are having lazy, eager fetching, lazy fetching, and batch fetching. We are having different fetching here. So we'll try to connect with our application with help of this particular fetching. Once we familiar with the fetching here, we'll go for the transactions here. How we can work on the Hibernate transaction here. How this particular Hibernate transaction is going to work. And once Hibernate transaction is completed, we'll connect with our query criteria example. We'll try to close up the Hibernate concepts here. So maybe on Monday or Tuesday, we're going to close up our Hibernate concepts here. Okay. So any questions regarding our today's session, what we discussed so far? So I will try to create today here. The existing one is not working here. I will try to find out the solution why it is giving an error. If it is successful, we'll create with the same existing the GitHub link. So otherwise, I will create one more link here. Okay. So anyway, I will share it today here. So definitely, I'm going to share it today, the GitHub link. Okay. So we'll continue on Monday.